Hi and welcome to this week's weekly update for Central Church. Look, this week we want to talk about what's helped you to live well in isolation. And we thought we'd start by asking some of our staff.
We've been enjoying FaceTiming our friends and pulling silly faces and playing silly games online.
Weekends are normally pretty busy for us, so we've actually been enjoying having a little bit of routine, getting out and doing some exercise with the kids.
What's been good for me is that I've been back on my bike a little bit. In the afternoon, it's been an exercise, and my son and I I got my son off the computer onto the bike. He was happy to do that, and we also got to go to McDonald's at the same time. Nobody else knows about that, don't tell.
As a family, it's been great to be able to just step back from all the activities and the busyness of life and just to spend a bit more quality time together as a family.
I'm just learning to be more still before God, which has included starting a little veggie patch and just taking the time to really enjoy the beautiful sunsets we've been having.
We've really loved going for walks with the family. The kids would ride their bikes. We would either jog next to them or walk. But it's just spending that quality time together, just doing something active has helped us just mentally and as well physically. So we recommend that.
I've been really loving calling some of our traditional service members and checking in with them. It's been such a blessing to me.
The other thing I've enjoyed is just being able to go for just regular walks with just a good friend.
We also just linger at the table a bit longer after we've had dinner because there's not much else to do. We've had a big day and we just talk, which is kind of interesting and different and good.
We've been enjoying exercising as a family, going for walks to the cemetery, skipping and playing the zombie eating brains game.
What's helped us live well, I think, is spending more time together as a family, and especially in family devotions, and singing some great worship songs together at night time.
It's been really good to get to know a few different people from the church that I've never really met before and just get to know them on a deeper level and just be able to catch up with them and see how they're going day to day.
We have tried to create a longing for community. Now this might sound weird, but what we've been trying to do with the kids is when they feel they've missed out on hanging out with their friends or seeing family, we're constantly trying to encourage them about what is it exactly that they are missing and kind of just try to create that longing, that joy for when we can gather again together. And I find that really helpful because it really clarifies to the kids what we are missing out on and why it's so important to be together.
I think for a lot of us, one of the good things about our isolation has been that extra time quietly with God. It's fascinating when we look at the Bible, we find in Psalm 57, King David having kind of effectively some forced isolation of his own, where he was fleeing and had to hide in a cave. And he says this at the beginning of Psalm 57, he says, "Have mercy on me, O God, have mercy on me, for in you my soul takes refuge. I will take refuge in the shadow of your wings until the disaster has passed. I cry out to God Most High, to God who fulfills his purpose for me." Isn't it cruel to see? Here is David. He's got that time alone and probably for him quite a distressing time, crying out to God, calling on God for his mercy, but knowing God's purpose for him. And especially finding refuge in God. Isn't that a great place to find our refuge in him, in the shadow of his wings, as David writes there? Look, for some of us, we're finding that joy. For many of us, even though this might be quite a difficult time, you might even be finding this is a time which is causing you some distress, anxieties, and things that then might flow into some sinful tendencies. I just want to invite you to talk to a Christian you know, or even to one of us here at church. We would love to be able to help you through this. We want to be very real about sin in our lives, sin that impacts us, and even some of those sins that our society is struggling with a lot at the moment. Some of those really difficult things, gambling addictions, alcohol, pornography, even domestic violence are things that we can't just sweep away and pretend don't happen. Please talk to us if those are issues. Talk to a friend you know that we might be able to help you deal with some of those more difficult things. Look, this week, can I encourage you again to tune into our live stream We're going to be online on Sunday morning at 9 a.m. Throughout the day, and particularly please join in at 9 a.m. and 5:30 p.m. at our usual service times. We're kicking off an all-new series this week. We're in 1 Corinthians from chapters 11 to 16 with a series called Better Together. While we are isolated, we are still God's people together. And this is going to help us to focus our times on what it means for us to be God's church.